بسم الله الرحمن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها فإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Respected ones, we welcome each and every one of you to another section of our class. Today is the night of Wednesday, which is the 28th of Jumad al-Ula, 1444 years after the migration of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Mecca to Medina, which is in conformity with the 21st of December 2022. We are here in Baytul Izzah Masjid in order to continue our class on the poem titled Irshadu Talib al-Ilmi ila Tariqi Fathi Bab al-Ilmi wal-Faham, a poem that is written by Al-Allama al-Sheikh al-Muhaddith Muhammad ibn al-Sheikh Ali ibn Adam al-Ethiopi al-Wallawi. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy upon him. Today, inshallah, is going to be the concluding part of this particular book, inshallah ta'ala. As such, today's class is going to be divided into 3 sections. The first section is corrections. The second section is today's lesson. And the third section is a risala, a message which I actually wrote in respect to what we have learned, from this particular poem. To start with, at the beginning of the class, when I was actually defining al-ilm, I said Al-Allama al-Sheikh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymin, he said that ilm al-shar'i is ilmu ma anzala Allahu min al-bayyinat, ilmu ma anzala Allahu min al-huda wal-bayyinat ala rasulihi, the knowledge of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed of explanations of clear proofs and guidance to who? To his messenger. So in the course of explaining this expression, I said هذا التعريف يتضمن ثلاث الأمور. This is actually an error linguistically. Do we understand? هذا التعريف يتضمن ثلاثة. It's supposed to be ثلاثة, not ثلاثة. Do we understand? And also in my last class, I brought a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where the Prophet sallallahu said, "Mathalu ma ba'athani Allahu bihi." I removed the expression bihi. I said, "Mathalu ma ba'athani Allahu min al-huda wal-ilm." It was also a mistake. It's supposed to be "Mathalu ma ba'athani Allahu bihi min al-huda wal-bayyinat." Please let us take note of these particular corrections. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide us. Now, today we are going to continue from number what? Number 7, isn't it? But before then, so far we have mentioned how many keys to knowledge. We mentioned, taqwa Allah as the miftahul awwal. Al-miftahu thani, we mentioned luzumu sunnah. Al-Miftah al-Thalith, we mentioned Ibti'adu Ahli al-Fisq wal-Hawa. Al-Miftah al-Rabi', we mentioned Suluku Manhaj al-Salaf. Al-Miftah al-Khamis, we mentioned Ibti'adu Anil Ibtida'i fi Din. Al-Miftah al-Sadis, we mentioned what? Nashrul Ilm. Al-Miftah al-Sabi', we mentioned Ikhlasun Niyyati Lillah. Al-Miftah al-Thamin, we mentioned Uluwu al-Himma. Do we understand? So today we are going to continue from number 7. The author said, فَالْجِدُّ مِنْكَ ثُمَّ فَتْحُ الْبَابِ مِنْ رَبِّكَ الْمُهَيْمِنِ الْوَهَّابِ. He said, فَالْجِدُّ مِنْكَ. So seriousness is required from you. And if you want to lead people in knowledge, you want to lead others in knowledge, apart from sincerity of intention, another thing that is required from you is what? Is seriousness. فَالْجِدُّ مِنْكَ. So seriousness is required from you. ثُمَّ فَتْحُ الْبَابِ. Then the opening of the door. The opening of what? Of the door. Of which door? The door of knowledge. Min Rabbika is actually from your Lord. Al-Muhaymin, the guardian. Al-Wahhab, the bestower. So what this particular portion is telling us is that a person cannot attain knowledge without what? Seriousness. A person cannot attain knowledge without what? Establishing a proximate relationship with who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do we understand? So seriousness must be combined with what? With dua. Jama'ah, do we understand? So this will now lead us to Al-Miftahu Al-Tasi'. Al-Miftahu Al-Tasi' is Al-Jidd, seriousness. The scholars used to say, Man jadda wajada. Anybody who is serious would definitely get what he wants. Do we understand? They used to say that likulli mushtahidin nasib. Anybody that is serious must definitely have share of what he is in need of. Do we understand? But if a person is not serious, he will never meet up with his goal. Do we get? So part of the keys to knowledge is what? Seriousness. Then al-miftahul hashir is al-isti'anatu billah, is to seek help from who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed the Prophet sallallahu in the Quran. Allah says, وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا, to tell you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the giver of knowledge. Allah instructed the Prophet. He says, say, oh my Lord, increase me in what? In knowledge. Nobody gives knowledge. Nobody increase knowledge except who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is why when you make effort, you now what? Resort back to Allah. You now involve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by what? Invoking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's very important. The author said, قَدْ وَعَدَ الْمُجَاهِدِينَ بِالْهُدَى. Verily, He has promised those who strive bilhuda, with guidance. Who promised those who strive? Allah. قَالَ لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ فَاسْتَرْشِدًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, He said, لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ, undoubtedly, wallahi, we shall guide them. Allah says, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. Allah said, those who strive in search of guidance for the sake of Allah, undoubtedly He, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, said, we shall guide them to our paths. Abdullah ibn Abbas said, the meaning of this verse is, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ, those who strive in understanding the religion of Allah. Do we understand? Allah says, لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا, undoubtedly we shall guide them to what? To our path. The central point here is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised that anyone who make effort, He will definitely guide that person to what? To his path. So this is why the author said, قَدْ وَعَدَ الْمُجَاهِدِينَ بِالْهُدَى. Verily, He has promised those who strive bilhuda, with guidance. How did He promise them? قَالَ, He said, لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ, we shall definitely what? Guide them. فَاسْتَرْشِدًا, so seek for what? Guidance. I hope you are getting it. So even guidance, you will not just sit down and become what? Guided. You have to what? You have to seek for guidance. Do we understand? The author said, فَالْجِدُّ وَحْدَهُ يَكُونُ مُهْمَلًا. Seriousness alone will be what? Fruitless. Muhmala. Seriousness alone will be what? Fruitless. In lam yakun bil fathi minhu mukmala. If there is no unlocking, if there is no what? Unlocking of the door of knowledge from him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a completion to what? To that effort. The effort will be what? Would be fruitless. Do we understand the concept? So this particular portion is very important. Your effort alone is not sufficient to make you attain your goal. Do we understand? This is the reason why as human we must involve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in whatever we are what? We are doing. The author said, فَرَحِمَ اللَّهُ الْكَرِيمُ مَنْ غَدَى. May Allah, the generous, have mercy, مَنْ غَدَى, upon he who turns, فِي مِثْلِ هَذَا الْعَصْرِ, in the like of this our generation, قَدْ تَجَرَّدَ, creating time. Do we understand? Creating time for what? في طلب العلم الشريف معرضا. في طلب العلم الشريف, in seeking for the reputable knowledge. معرضا, turning away, and kulli ma yulhi, from every forms of what? Yani obstruction. Wa dunya rafida, and also abstaining from what? From this dunya. Jamal, do we understand the concept? The author here is exposing us to another key of knowledge. Another key to knowledge. What is that key? He said, فَرَحِمَ اللَّهُ الْكَرِيمُ مَنْ غَدَى. May Allah, the generous, have mercy upon he who turns, فِي مِثْلِ هَذَا الْعَصْرِ, in the like of this our generation, where there are a lot of what? Obstructions. Your phone alone is sufficient to obstruct you from learning. I hope you are getting the concept. In fact, today, if you observe, most Muslims, they are engaged in watching what? Football. This one is Man U, this one is Arsenal, this one is Chelsea. That time that you used to actually seek for knowledge, you are using it for Chelsea and Arsenal. I hope you are getting it. It is only few among the Muslims, those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has actually saved. Those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful upon, they are those that are actually saved from this particular word, shabaka, this net of what? Of this kufrulistic plot. Do we understand? This net of the kuffar to turn the Muslims away from their deen. Muslims no longer talk about knowledge again. What they talk about is how what do you call them? Club actually win Suzo club. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. Most time they watch this particular football close to the time of Salat. You see some Muslims actually leaving Salat because of what? Football. So is it only football? What about Z-World? Z-World has actually taken over our homes today. You see our daughters, our children watching Z-World from 10 to 3. From 10 to what? 3 a.m. 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. There are some houses you go to today. Wallahi tallahi billahi alladhi la ilaha illa huwa. The children, they don't even know anything about Quran. Immediately they are just coming from Islamia, that is all. The next thing is Z-World. The next thing is Star Life. Do we understand? And this one is not for children, including the adults. There are a lot of obstacles. This is why the scholar said, well, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon anyone who turns in the like of this our generation. Kadi tajarrada, creating what? Time. في طلب العلم الشريف, in searching for the reputable knowledge. Which one is the reputable knowledge? The knowledge of the deen, the knowledge of the religion. So one of the keys to knowledge is what? Is at-tafarrug. At-tafarrugu lil-ilm. Creating time for what? For knowledge. There should be a time that you are learning, such that you don't allow anything to obstruct that time. But today there are a lot of things. Well, I used to know of a brother who is dedicated, but since enjoying, this brother, Allah blessed him with a job. He now join another job, all this networking job. Wallahi tallahi, stop coming to Karatu. This brother used to be a dedicated brother, but wallahi, even one day he cannot sacrifice. He's now networking. I hope you are getting the concept. Allah will not ask him about networking. Allah will ask him about what? The deen. In fact, it's a clear-cut evidence that he is not actually appreciating the bounty of Allah upon him. Because Allah is giving him job, a federal job that is receiving salary every month, yet he allows networking to take him away from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So at-tafarrugu lil-ilm, we must create time for what? For knowledge, such that we don't allow anything to obstruct that time. When it is time for karatu, don't allow anything to obstruct that particular time. Do we understand? May Allah Ta'ala continue to guide us. In the north, when we were in the north, one day we went to madrasa. A brother was praying. It was about to rain. He was praying that it should not rain. He was praying that what? It should not rain. Because if it rain, we will not be able to do karatu that day. So I was surprised. He said, rain can come at any time, isn't it? Apart from that particular day, rain can come. But if this rain actually obstructs us from today's class, wallahi tallahi, we are going to miss a lot. We might not be able to recover it again. Jamal, do we understand? So this is how a student of knowledge should be. Should what? Should be. Now, the author said, في طلب العلم شريفي, in seeking for what? The reputable knowledge. معرضا. Do we understand? Turning away and kulli ma yulhi, from any forms of what? Obstruction. Another key to knowledge. Al-i'rad amma yulhi. Turning away from what? Any forms of what? Obstruction. Anything that will obstruct you from learning, wallahi, turn away from that thing. Do we understand? I know of a brother who sold his phone. He's using Android phone. Do we understand? All of a sudden, I saw him with this small phone. I said, what happened? He said, I've discovered that this phone wants to destroy me. Talib al-ilm. Wallahi, talib al-ilm. He's a student of knowledge. He said he has discovered that this phone wants to destroy him. The phone is taking his time. Facebook, what do you call it? WhatsApp, they are consuming his time. So he said if he continues like this, he's afraid that he might not get to what? His aim. He might not get to what? Where he's aiming. So he went to sell it. Jamal, do we understand the concept? So anything, the reason why I brought this is to tell us that anything that will serve as an obstacle for you from actually learning, do away with that thing. Do we get? Now, the author said, وَدُنْيَا رَافِضَكُ مُشَمِّرًا أَنْ سَعْكِ جِدٍّ جَاثِيًا مُشَمِّرًا, making effort. Making what? Effort. أَنْ سَعْكِ جِدٍّ, upon seriousness. Do we understand? جَاثِيًا, مُشَمِّرًا, making effort, أَنْ سَعْكِ, upon seriousness. Jiddin jathiyan, sitting before what? Jathiyan bayna yaday ulir rashadi wa'iya, sitting before what? The possessor of guidance. Wa'iya, while gathering what? The knowledge. I take it again. Mushammiran ansaqi jiddin jathiya, making effort upon seriousness, sitting bayna yaday ulir rashadi, before the possessor of guidance. Who are the possessor of guidance? The scholars. They are the one that will tell you that this is what you should do, this is what you should not do. You want to get knowledge, this is how you should start, this is where you should start from. Wa'iyan, while what? While gathering knowledge. So this adab. Before your scholar that you are taking karatu from, you don't stand. You sit with all forms of what? Humility. So another key to knowledge is mujalasatul ulama والتلقي عنهم. مجالسة العلماء والتلقي عنهم, sitting with the scholars and learning from who? From them. Jamal, do we understand? You don't learn from internet. You don't learn from books on your own. I hope we understand. You learn from who? From the ulama, the scholars. Now, the author said, وَكَاتِبًا جَمِيعَ مَا يَسْمَعُهُ and writing all that is hearing, all that what he hears from who? From the scholar. وَكَاتِبًا جَمِيعَ مَا يَسْمَعُهُ, and writing all that he hears مِنَ الْفَوَائِدِ الَّتِي تَنْفَعُهُ, of benefits that will be beneficial to him. So a student of knowledge must always be with what? Pen or what? Or pencil. I hope you are getting the concept, because wallahi, there are a lot of things your scholar will say, you might not get them in Shari. Do we get to the concept? So as he's saying it, you are what? You are jotting it. It's very, very important. You will not see, I mean, I've never even seen a serious student of knowledge who is not jotting. Because you refer back to what? To it tomorrow. If you want to believe that you are getting it, wallahi thumma billah, by the time you go back home and you try to recall what your scholar has actually said, you know that you are not getting it. Do you understand? So this is the reason why, as a student of knowledge, you should have exercise book that you are writing all what your scholar is saying. One of my friend, he wrote a book on Nahu. I wanted to come with that book. In fact, I've never seen the like of that book. I've never seen the like of what? Of that book. Anybody who wants to understand Matnul Ajurrumiya, wallahi, should read this particular book. If you want to understand Matnul Ajurrumiya, read this particular book written by this my friend, Abu Abdullah, Hafidhahullah Ta'ala. Do you know how come about the book? He has studied this Ajurrumiya from many scholars, even in Nigeria, before he went outside. But when he went out, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala connected him with a scholar. So the way, the methodology this scholar was using to teach him, in fact, it's as if Matnul Ajurrumiya is just like A, B, C to Z. So as the scholar was teaching him with that method, he was jotting the method down. I hope they are getting it. He jotted down all the methods such that he compiled it to become what? A book. I hope you are getting the concept. So anybody who is having problem with Matnul Ajurrumiya, if you study this particular book, Al-Khulasa, if you study this particular book, inshallah ta'ala, you will not have any problem with what? Matnul Ajurrumiya. So how was he able to compile it? He was writing as his teacher was what? Was teaching. At the end, he compiled it as what? As a book. Now, this writing will not only benefit him, rather it will benefit what? The entire ummah. So you can see the benefit of writing. So that's why when you are writing, you also write boldly, such that when you are old, you can be able to what? To read it. Do we understand? The author said, وَحَافِظًا. So another key to knowledge is kitabatu al-ilm. Writing what? Knowledge. What you have learned of knowledge, jot it down. وَحَافِظًا مُذَاكِرًا مَا نَقَلًا. Memorizing, مُذَاكِرًا, and revising مَا نَقَلًا, what has been transmitted, meaning what has been learnt. So whatever you learn, anyone that you are supposed to memorize, can you possibly memorize all? Imam Shafi'i used to be proud of his memorization. He used to say, my knowledge is with me anywhere I am. If I'm at home, my knowledge is with me. If I'm in the market, my knowledge is what? Is with me. Is it that he's carrying books about? Will it be possible for him to carry all his library to the market? No, it's not possible. Do you understand? So it means that Imam Shafi'i used to what? Memorize. This is how it should be. It should not be that when they ask you question that, Akramakallah, what can you say about this thing? Say, let me check my book first. I'll get back to you. Do you understand? That is not knowledge. So whatever you learn, try to what? Memorize it. Do we understand? Mudhakiran, and also revise. Revise what you have learned. Ma'rufa qa'ihil hudatin nubala. With what? Is colleagues. The guided ones who are what? Nubala, intelligent. So if you want to make your revision, don't go and revise with people who are not intelligent. They will discourage you. I hope you are getting the concept. If you meet people who are not intelligent, they will always tell you that, my brother, this thing is difficult. It's just like a new student now. If you meet somebody with almost 5 carryover, say, please, what can you advise me now? You tell the guy, this department is very difficult. But if you need advice, go and meet first class student. First class student will tell you that this thing is not difficult. This is what you should do. I hope you are getting it. So if you also want to revise with people that are what? Intelligent. People that are guided and they are what? They are intelligent. Jamal, do we understand? So another key to knowledge is what? Hifdhul ilm. Hifdhu mada? Al-ilm. Memorizing what? Knowledge. Whatever you have learned. Do we understand? And also, yani, al-mudhakara. Revision. This revision is divided into two. You do it alone, and also you do it with whom? With others. Do we understand? They are very, very important. In fact, the secret to knowledge is revision. Guess yeah? The secret to knowledge is what? Is revision. Wallahi, we are benefiting from it a lot. We have colleagues that we used to do revisions together. And wallahi, through this revision, we benefited a lot. In fact, there are a lot of things we got to know that through this revision that we wouldn't have known them by ordinary learning. I hope we are getting the concept. Through ordinary learning, we wouldn't have known them. But with revisions, we bring mas'ala as you are revising. This one has read many books. This one too has read many books. So whatever we have read, we will actually bring it together. Up to today, I'm telling you, it's still benefiting us. I hope you are getting. My friends that are outside, up to today, we are still doing, there's what we call Google Meet. Up to today, every Thursday and Friday, we used to do group discussion online. It's very, very essential. Nothing helps you to retain knowledge like that group discussion. Do we understand? Now, the author said, فَإِنَّ ذَا يَحْظَى بِفَتْحِ الْبَابِ. For verily, one who gathers all that have been mentioned. فَإِنَّ ذَا. Verily, one who gathers all that have been mentioned. يَحْظَى بِفَتْحِ الْبَابِ. Will actually enjoy the opening of door. The opening of what? Of the door of knowledge. Min Rabbihi, from his Lord. Al-Kashif, the one who unveils. Lil hijab, the veiled. Do we understand the concept? Anything that is veiled, who can unveil that thing? So what this particular expression is telling you is that if you take note of all that have been mentioned, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to open the door of knowledge for you. Do you understand? And when the door of knowledge is open for you, you'll be the one to get tired, Aiko. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless. You can never get all the knowledge, but you will get what? A greater part of it. Do we understand? The author said, Nas'aluka Allahumma an tukrimana. We ask you, O Allah, to honor us bil ilmi, with beneficial knowledge, wa taqwa, piety, wa jannatil hana, and what? The garden of joy and happiness. Do we understand? This is the end of the book. So far, how many keys have we mentioned? How many keys have we mentioned? We'll take them again from the beginning. Al-Miftahul Awwal, Taqwa Allah. Al-Miftahu Thani, Luzumu Sunnah. Al-Miftahu Thalith, Ibti'adu Ahli al-Fisqi wal-Hawa. Al-Miftahu Rabi', Suluku Manhaj al-Salaf. Al-Miftahu Khamis, ابتعاد عن الابتداع في الدين. المفتاح السادس كناكو نشر العلم. المفتاح السابع إخلاص النية لله. المفتاح الثامن علو الهمة. المفتاح التاسع الجد. المفتاح العاشر الاستعانة بالله. المفتاح الحادي عشر التفرغ للعلم. المفتاح الثاني عشر الإعراض عما يلهي. المفتاح الثالث عشر مجالسة العلماء والتلقي عنهم. المفتاح الرابع عشر is what? حفظ العلم. المفتاح الخامس عشر كتابة الفوائد. المفتاح السادس عشر is المذاكرة. So we mentioned 16 what? Keys to knowledge. So by the time you gather all these 16 keys, inshallah ta'ala, you will be what? You access knowledge. Do we understand? I've already translated it in English language. Do you understand? The first one we said is what? Consciousness of Allah. The second one is, holding firm to the Sunnah. The third one is abstaining from evil, the transgressors, and what? People of desires. The fourth one is what? Trading, following the path of the pious predecessor. The fifth one is abstaining from innovation. Abstaining from what? Innovation in the religion. The sixth one is spreading knowledge. The seventh one is sincerity of intention. I think the number 8 is high ambition. Do we understand? Ulul himma. Number 9 is seriousness. Number 10 is requesting from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, invoking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 10 is creating time for knowledge. Number 11, turning away from all forms of what? Distraction. Number 12, sitting with the scholars and learning from them. Number 13, writing, the beneficial aspect of what? Of knowledge. Number what now? Number 14, memorizing. Number 15, what? Revising. That is revision. I think that is all, go. I said it's 16. So which one I did not mention? I think it's 16, go. I should have mentioned it too. Memorizing, we have mentioned. Revision, writing, sitting with the scholars. I think I should have mentioned it. I should have mentioned, maybe we didn't count it very well. But I want to believe I should have mentioned it, inshallah. May Allah Ta'ala continue to guide us. With this, we have come to the end of this particular book. We take it from the beginning again. يَا مَنْ يُرِيدُ فَتْحَ بَابِ الْعِلْمِ وَأَنْ يَكُونَ بَارِعًا فِي الْفَهْمِ فَلْتَتَّقِ اللَّهَ وَتَلْزَمِ السُّنَنِ وَابْتَعِدًا عن أهل السوء وفتن ولتسلكن في الهدي نهج السلف ولتبعدن عن ابتداع الخلف فكل خير في اتباع من سلف وكل شر في ابتداع من خلف يا من يريد أن يسود غيره في العلم ناشرا لكل خيره أخلص لربك وأعل همتك ترى المواهب تحل ساحتك فالجد منك ثم فتح الباب من ربك المهيمن الوهاب قد وعد المجاهدين بالهدى قال لنهدينهم فاسترشدا فالجد وحده يكون مهملا إن لم يكن بالفتح منه مكملا فرحم الله الكريم من غدا في مثل هذا العصر قد تجردا في طلب العلم الشريف معرضا عن كل ما يلهي ودنيا رافضا مشمرا عن ساق جد جاثيا بين يدي أولي الرشاد واعيا وكاتبا جميع ما يسمعه من الفوائد التي تنفعه وحافظا مذاكرا ما نقل مع رفقائه الهداة النبلا فإن ذا يحظى بفتح الباب من ربه الكاشف للحجاب نسألك اللهم أن تكرمنا بالعلم والتقوى وجنة الهنا. How do we want the translation again? The translation from the beginning. يَا مَنْ يُرِيدُ فَتَحَ بَابِ الْعِلْمِ. Oh, he who wants to open the door of knowledge. وَأَنْ يَكُونَ بَارِئًا فِي الْفَهْمِ, and to be superior in understanding. Oh, he who wants to open the door to knowledge and to be superior in what? Understanding. فَلْتَتَّقِ اللَّهَ. You should fear Allah. وَتَلْزَمِ السُّنَنِ and hold firm to where? To the traditions. وَابْتَعِدًا and أَهْلِ سُوءٍ وَفِتَنٍ and abstain from evil and troublesome people. وَلْتَسْلُكَنْ فِي الْهَدِي نَهْجَ السَّلَفِ and follow in guidance the path of who? The Salaf, the predecessor. وَلْتَبْعِدًا عَنِ ابْتِدَاعِ الْخَلَفِ and abstain from the innovations of what? Those who, the successors who oppose them. The successors who what? Oppose them. يَمَنْ يُرِيدُ أَنْ يَسُودَ غَيْرَهُ Oh, he who wants to lead others fil ilmi, in knowledge, nashiran li kulli khayrahu, spreading to everyone its goodness. Akhlis li rabbika, purify, make your intention purely and sincerely. For whom? For your Lord. Wa a'li himmatak, and elevate your ambition and aspiration. Taral mawahiba. If you do that, you will see al mawahiba. The what? And the endowment which Allah used to give to people. Tahullu sahatak, arriving at your what? At your yard. Meaning at your doorstep, kenako. Fal jaddu. So seriousness minka is required from you. Thumma fathul babi, then opening of what? Of the door. Min rabbika is actually from your Lord. Al muhaimin, the guardian. Al wahhab, the what? The bestower. Qad wa'ada al mujahidina bil huda, verily he has promised those who strive with guidance. Qala, he said, lanahdiyannahum, undoubtedly we shall guide them. Fastarshida, so seek guidance. From who now? From him. Faljiddu wahdahu yakunu muhmala, seriousness alone will be what? Fruitless. Seriousness and effort alone will be what? Fruitless. In lam yakun bil fathi minhu mukmala, in lam yakun bil fathi minhu, if there is no opening from him, mukmala, as a completion to what? To the effort and what? And seriousness. Farahimallahu al-karimu man gada, may Allah the generous have mercy upon he who turns fi mithli hadha al-asri, in the like of this generation, qad tajarrada, creating time, fi talabil ilmi sharifi, in seeking for what? The reputable knowledge, mu'ridan, turning away, and kulli ma yulhi, from every forms of what? Obstructions, wa dunya rafida, and abstaining from where? From this world. Because if you want to gather this word, it will be difficult for you to what? To get knowledge. Do we understand? Mushammiran and saqi, making effort upon seriousness. Jiddin jafiya, sitting bayna yaday ulir rashadi, before the possessor or the people, the possessor of guidance. Wa'iya, while gathering what? Knowledge. Is this expression clear? What? Bayna mushammiran and saqi jiddin jafiya, making effort upon seriousness. Jafiya, sitting bayna yaday ulir rashadi, before what? The scholars can. Ulir rashad, meaning those who will what? Those who possess guidance, those that will direct you. Or you can say before the directors. Ulir rashad, the directors. Wa'iya, while gathering knowledge, while taking what? The knowledge. Is it clear now? وَكَاتِبًا جَمِيعًا مَا يَسْمَعُهُ, and writing all that he hears. مِنَ الْفَوَائِدِ, of what? Benefits. الَّتِي تَنْفَعُهُ, which will be what? Beneficial to him. وَحَافِظًا, memorizing. مُذَاكِرًا, and revising. مَا نَقَلَ, what has been transmitted, meaning what has been what? Learnt. مَعْ رُفَقَائِهِ الْهُدَاتِ النُّبَلَةِ, along with رُفَقَائِهِ الْهُدَاتِ, is what? His colleagues, al-hudat, the guided ones, and nubala, that are what? Intelligent. For inna that, verily, one who gathers all that have been mentioned, yahdha bi fathil babi, will enjoy the opening of doors. The opening of what? Of the door to knowledge, min rabbihi, from his Lord, al-kashif, the one who unveils, lil hijab, the veiled. Do we understand? Nas'aluka, we ask you, Allahumma, O Allah, an tukrimana, to what? To honor us. Bil ilmi, with beneficial knowledge, wa taqwa, piety, wa jannatil hana, and the garden of what? Al-hana means happiness and what? And joy. Jama'ah, do we understand? We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless whatever we have said. Now, so there is a message from the instructor. I started the message by saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Alladhi an'ama alayna min ni'amihi ma la na'udduhu wa la nuhsih, wa 'aghdaka alayna min khayrihi wa fadlihi ma nu'jizu an shukri. Nahmaduhu subhanahu hamdan kathiran tayyiban mubaraka fihi, أمن علينا بدين الإسلام وجعلنا من أتباع خير الوراء وسيد الخلق والأنام سيدنا محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه يا رب العالمين وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اهتدى بهديه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, all that I've read is the introduction. Is introduction. It's just like yani khutbatul haja. So because of time, there will be no need to actually translate them. Now, I said amma ba'd. After that, فَقَدْ كَتَبْتُ هَذِهِ الرِّسَالَةِ, I've written this particular treatise, this particular treaty or this particular message. لِأُلَخِّصَ, in order to summarize مَا دَرَسْنَا وَتَعَلَّمْنَا, what we have studied and learned فِي مَنْظُومَةِ, in the poem إِرْشَادِ طَالِبِ الْعِلْمِ إلى فتح باب العلم والفهم من النصائح, of what? Advices. أسأل الله تبارك وتعالى, I ask Allah the blessed and the most high, أن ينفعنا به في الدنيا والآخرة, to make it beneficial for us in this world and hereafter. أيها الطالب, O you the student of knowledge, I'm referring to all of us including myself. ينبغي عليك, there is need for you أن تلاحظ في طلبك للعلم, to take note umuran, to take note of some things in your quest for knowledge. Awalan, number one is an tukhlisa niyyatak. It's for you to make your intention sincere. Do we understand? For you to make your intention sincere. Learn for the sake of who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not learn litubahu bihi al-ulama, as the Prophet said in hadith of Imam al-Tirmidhi, in order to challenge the scholars. Whenever the scholars are talking, you stand up and say, me too, have learned this book. No. How litumaru bihi sufaha, or to argue with what? The ignorant ones, those who do not know anything. Say, keep quiet, what do you know in the deen? Which scholars we are talking and you are talking? Or to even get a very good position for yourself. You know, so that people respect you as a scholar, they always give you what? A suitable position. No, don't learn for such purpose. The Prophet said, anybody who learned for any of these reasons, for nar and nar, it deserves what? Hellfire. Do we understand? So that's why you need to purify your intention. لأن العلم عبادة, because knowledge is what? It's ibadah. والعبادة كما عرفت, and ibadah, as you know, لا تقبل, is not what? Accepted. إلا إذا توفر فيها شرطان, except when two conditions are what? Are fulfilled in it. What are these two conditions? وهما الإخلاص والمتابعة. They are sincerity and what? Followership. You do it for the sake of Allah and in line with the way the Prophet ﷺ did it. ذكر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في حديث عمر المشهور المعروف. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the hadith of Umar, hadith that is popular, hadith that is also known to each and every one of us here. In the Bukhari wa Muslim, which Imam al-Bukhari and Muslim reported in their book Sahih, the Prophet ﷺ said, إنما الأعمال, قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, إنما الأعمال بالنيات. He said actions are judged by what? Intentions. وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى. And everybody will be judged according to what he intends. Do we understand? إلى آخر الحديث, down to the end of the hadith. وذكر عبد الله ابن مبارك كما جاء في جامع بيان العلم وفضله لابن عبد البر. Abdullah ibn Mubarak mentioned in جامع بيان العلم وفضله of Ibn Abd al-Barr. He said that in awwal al-ilmi an-niyya, the first stage of knowledge is to purify your intention. Thumma al-istima', then you listen. Thumma al-faham, then you understand. Thumma al-hifz, then you memorize. Thumma al-amal, then you do what? You implement. Thumma al-nashr, then you actually spread it. Do we understand? So this is the first thing that we should take note of. Thaniyan, the second thing is an tabhatha أن تبحث عن عالم is for you to search for a scholar. You don't learn alone. Anybody who tries to learn alone will be misguided. I've never seen somebody who learned alone from internet or depend on what you understand of Arabic to get knowledge without the direction, without the directive of what? Of scholars that is on the path. If there is any, then they are very, very few. So this is why I said that you should search for what? A scholar. Is it any scholar? No. Al-mutamassik bi kitabillahi azza wa jal wa sunnati rasuli. The one that is holding firm to the book of Allah and the sunnah of the Prophet ala fahmi salafi as-salih, based on the understanding of who? The pious predecessors. لِتَتَعَلَّمْ مِنْهُ, in order for you to learn from him. فَإِنَّ الْعِلْمَ, for verily knowledge, كَمَا ذَكَرَ النَّبِيُّ صلى الله عليه وسلم, as the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم mentioned, لَا يُنَالُ إِلَّا بِالتَّعَلُّمِ. It cannot be achieved, it cannot be attained, it cannot be gotten except through what? Through learning. Do we understand? إِذَا لَابُدَّ أَن تَتَعَلَّمَ مِنْ عَالِمٍ. As such, it is obligatory that you learn from who? A scholar, Sunni Salafi, that is upon Sunnah. Do we understand? Upon what the Prophet ﷺ and his companions were upon. يقول محمد بن السيرين, Muhammad ibn Sirin is saying, إن هذا العلم دين. Verily this knowledge is what? Is your religion. فانظروا عمن تأخذون دينكم. Be careful of whom you take your religion from. ثالثا, the third thing that you should take note of is أن تحاول على قدر الإمكان, is for you to try to the best of your ability أن تفهم كل ما تتعلم من معلمك, to understand whatever they are learning from your scholar. لا تترك ولا تردى أن يفوتك شيء مما علمت من معلمك. Do not actually accept that anything that you have learned from your scholar to what? To pass you. إلا ماذا إلا استفسرته منه, except that what? You inquire that thing from your scholar. Whatever they have learned from your scholar, don't allow it to escape you. If you see that it has escaped you, meet your scholar for what? For reminder. Do we understand? Now, وكذلك أن تراقب المراجعة والمذاكرة. And also, you should take note of what? Revision and what we call group discussion. مع زملائك, مذاكرة مع زملائك, group discussion with your friends. قال واحد من السلف من العلماء, one of the scholars said, احرص على مذاكرة المسائل. He said, be zealous of revising with your colleagues, revising the matters of the deen with your colleagues. والمناقشة, and engaging in debate مع إخوانك, with your brothers, meaning your brothers who are knowledgeable. He said, فَإِنَّ رُسُوخَ الْمَسَائِلِ, for verily in-depth matters لَا تَأْتِي إِلَّا بِالْمُذَاكَرَةِ. Wallah, it does not come except through what? Revision. Do we understand? And also, أَنَا شَهِيدٌ عَلَى هَذَا, I'm a witness to this particular fact. There are a lot of things you will not understand until you discuss with other students of what? Other students of knowledge. Do we understand? So the more you discuss with them, the more you become what? You become encouraged. I want to give us, I want to tell us, something that actually happened to me. من بعد تحدث بنعمة الله. Do we understand? From the perspective of saying what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with. You understand? Not out of pride. Wallah, there was a time we were having a mas'ala to treat with our friends. A mas'ala, wallahi tallahi. This is, I want to expose us to the importance of mudhakara. None of us actually slept. My wife is a clear witness to that. I did not sleep. In fact, until I had the call to prayer. And the funniest, the interesting part, all my friends again, none of them actually slept because of that particular word, that particular mas'ala. And wallahi tallahi, all of us, we said something that we have never heard before on that particular word, on that particular mas'ala. And this particular mas'ala, if I were to read on my own, I would have actually forgotten a lot of things. But anytime you bring this mas'ala, even if you wake me from sleep, I will still tell you. I hope you are getting it. So that's the importance of what? Mudhakara. Do we understand? So this is why I'm saying that what? I'm advising us, the student of knowledge, that we should also, don't just read and go and sleep. No. Get friends that you are always doing mudhakara with. You are always revising with. Rabi'an. The fourth thing is, an ta'mala bima alimt. Work with what you have learned. Wallahi, no matter how small that thing is, work with it. ذكر واحد من العلماء, one of the scholars mentioned, he said that لو كان العلم من دون التقي شرفا, adibin knowledge without piety is a honor. لكان أشرف خلق الله Iblis. Iblis would have been the most honored of what? Of the creatures of Allah, because he has knowledge. I hope you are getting it. But what happened to him? He did not actually work with his knowledge. أيها الأحباء, O you my beloved ones, فالعلم لابد من العمل. والله knowledge you must work with it. قال شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية رحمه الله, شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية, may Allah have mercy upon him, he said, لو اعتصم رجل بالعلم الشرعي, if a person actually stick to the legislated knowledge, من غير عمل بالواجب, without working with the obligations, things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he know has actually made obligatory upon him, he's not working with them, but he has the religious knowledge. Ibn Taymiyyah said, Kana Gawiyan, such person would have been a worshipper of what? His desire. Anybody who worship his desire, is he upon the right path? Is he going to actually, is he establishing a good relationship with Allah? We say no. He said, وَإِذَا اعْتَصَمَ بِالْعِبَادَةِ الشَّرْعِيَّةِ, likewise, if a person stick to legislated act of worship, مِنْ غَيْرِ عِلْمِ بِالْوَاجِبِ, without having the knowledge of things that Allah has made obligatory upon him, كَانَ ضَالًّا, such person would have been what? Do we understand? So you must join these two together. You must learn, and also you must do what? You must implement. كَانَ السَّلَفْ يَحْفَظُونَ الْعِلْمِ بِالْعَمَلِ, the Salaf used to memorize knowledge with work. أَيْنَ نَحْنُ مِنَ السَّلَفِ الْيَوْمِ, where are we with respect to the Salaf today? Waki is saying that إِذَا أَرَدْتَ أَن تَحْفَظَ الْحَدِيثِ, if you want to memorize hadith, he said فَعْمَلْ بِهِ, work with that hadith. If you work with the hadith, automatically you have what? You have memorized what? The hadith. Jama'ah, do we understand? Now, the fifth thing that we should actually take note of as student of knowledge is أَن تَنْتَشِرَ الْعِلْمِ حَسْبَ مَا دَرَسْتَ, to spread knowledge, but based on what you have learned. Don't go beyond that. Do we understand? You have studied Uswatu Hasana to Umdatul Ahkam, to teach people Uswatu Hasana to what? Umdatul Ahkam. Don't go and teach people Bulugul Marami that you have not studied. I hope you are getting it. Because if you are going to teach people Bulugul Marami that you have not studied, wallahi talai, what you are going to establish, do we understand? What you are going to establish of yani errors will be greater than what you are going to what? Correct. Do we understand? So, Uswatu Hasana to Umdatul Ahkam, stop there. Bulugul Marami, tell them that Gaskiya me, I've not learned this one. I hope you are getting the concept. Now, Qala Nabi Sallallahu, the Prophet Sallallahu said, Al-Imam al-Bukhari reported this hadith, said, Ballighu anni walau ayah. So, convey of me, even if it's just one verse that you understand. Sadisan, the sixth, is Ihdar al-Ujub bin Nafs. Ihdar al-Ujub bin Nafs. Yani stay away from pomposity. Do we understand? Wal gurur and deception. Don't feel that yes, you know more than everybody. I hope you are getting the concept. Believe that there are people who know more than you. Wallahi, there is a friend of mine. Anytime I discuss with him, anytime we discuss pertaining the deen, he used to use this expression for me, Zid fil bath. Do we understand? Zid fil what? Fil bath. There is never a time that we discuss about the deen except that I will end up following his view. I hope you are getting the concept. So this person, with respect to our own age, it's not up to our age. I hope you are getting it. But Ilman is more than me. So if I had looked at him that this boy that I'm older than him, please, will I be able to benefit from such person? Wallahi, I was following him to teach me. I was following him seriously to teach me. He said, no, he cannot teach me except that we should do mudhakara. I said, no, me, I don't want to do mudhakara with you. Because Allah blessed him, a small boy, a young boy. Allah blessed him with the knowledge of hadith. Wallah, he has read a lot with respect to ulumul hadith. Do we understand? So don't underrate anybody. Don't believe that you are more than what? There's a scholar in Lokoja I am learning hadith from. This scholar, nobody knows that he's a scholar. Do you understand? If you see him, you will not know that he's a scholar. So I was discussing with a brother. I said, wallah, this is my teacher. Because Allah blessed him again with ulumul hadith. I was telling the brother, I said, this man is a scholar. I said he's a scholar because most time when I take dars from him, I used to record it because of what? Revision. So I now played one of our dars for him. He had him teaching in Arabic, not even in English language. Do we understand? But this brother, nobody recognizes him in Lokoja. They don't even know him. If he comes to this place now, you might not even be, in fact, if they tell you that this one has the knowledge of hadith, you will never believe. Wallahi, I benefited from him. Up to today, I'm still benefiting from him. There are a lot of books he exposed me to, books of hadith. Do we understand? Al-Muhim, what I'm trying to say is that a student of knowledge should not be pompous. If you see yourself, exhibiting pomposity, you don't have knowledge. Do you understand? Umar ibn al-Khattab, prior to Islam, can you go close to Umar? But when Umar accepted Islam, when he actually, studied, what happened to Umar? He became what? Humble. Do we understand? So a student of knowledge should be humble. فَإِنَّهُ مُهْلِكَةُ الصَّالِحِينَ. Wallahi, pomposity actually destroys what? The pious ones. So always humble yourself. Anybody who humbles himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will what? Will elevate him. The seventh thing is as-sabr. As-sabr. You must be patient. Wallahi, today students of knowledge are not patient. Allah, they are not patient. If they come to your house 1 time, 2 times, you are not there to teach them. Wallahi, that is all. They might not come again. In Lokoja, I learned under a scholar. That scholar, do you know what he told me? He said that anytime I come to his house, if I did not meet him, if he's not around, I should flash him 2 times. When I flash, I should wait for 5 minutes and flash again. So if he flash back, he's coming. No, sorry, if he flash back, he's not coming. But if he did not flash, he will come. Jama, are we getting the concept? So we went to, one day I went to his house. This is an instruction he gave. How many times? 2 times. I flashed him the first time. I waited for 5 minutes. I flashed him the second time. Do you understand? So he did not respond. He didn't do any of the options he gave us. I waited. When he came, he got angry. He said, why am I disturbing him? That I've even destroyed his phone. My call actually made his phone to fall. I hope they are getting the concept. So this scholar will go to his house. We'll go to his house around 4. If he's not around, maybe sometime he'll come back around 5. When he comes back, Jama, we only take 1 line. Even that 1 line will not complete it. We will not complete it. Just as in the course of translating, he will bring matter, other matters. Do you understand the concept? We will discuss this matter till Maghrib. When it is time for Maghrib, we will just pray, and that is all. Wallahi, we will never stop going to his place. If it is today, wallahi, a lot of brothers would have stopped. I hope you are getting the concept. So patient, that is number 1. Patient. You should be patient with what you are studying of book. The book that you are studying, be patient to finish that book. Don't say, I'm studying this book now, and this my friend is studying so book. Oh, sir, let me drop this book and carry. No, be patient. And also be patient with your teacher. I hope you are getting it. You cannot learn if you are not patient with whom? With your teacher. Wallahi, there are a lot of teachers who, they will discipline you upon what? Upon patience. My own best teacher, the teacher whom I benefited from a lot, Ustaz Muhammad ibn Abdullah, is in Kaduna. Ustaz Muhammad ibn Abdullah. I've never seen a scholar that drilled students like our Ustaz. Up to today, as I'm telling you, if I see his score, I used to be afraid. I hope you are getting the concept. I used to be what? Afraid. Sometimes we'll go to Islamia. We used to go 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. If you go 1 minute past 7, you are late. 1 minute past 7, he will allow you to sit down. When it is your turn, he will say, Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Sometimes you even go early. Wallahi, he will not teach you. Jama, are we getting the concept? If he gives you assignment, you did not do it, for 2 weeks, you will not come to Karatu. Today, how many students can bear this? If you even give a student assignment, in fact, he's seeing it as what? As a problem. I hope you are getting it. May Allah Ta'ala continue to guide us. So, لأن العلم يحتاج إلى الصبر. Knowledge requires what? Patience. Patience. ثامنا, number 8 matter is إجلال العلماء. إجلال العلماء. Honoring the scholars. Honoring what? The scholar. A student of knowledge was telling his teacher that, Sheikh, which book am I even studying with you? Jamal, do you understand? Sheikh, which book am I even studying with you? Does this one has adab? This one does not have, there is no adab at all, isn't it? So that's why there are scholars that without adab you cannot call them. There are scholars that the way you talk to them, immediately they will be refuting you. Dr. Sharaf, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to preserve him upon sunnah. If you are not a student with adab, you cannot actually call him. I hope you are getting it. May Allah continue to guide us. لابد لطالب العلم أن يجلل العلماء. It's obligatory upon the student of knowledge to honor, to exalt the scholars, وأن يكرمهم, and to honor them. لأنهم أرحم الناس به. Allahu Akbar. Because they are the most kind of people to him. Nobody is as kind to you as who? As your teacher. ذكر الإمام يحيى ابن معاذ الرازي. الإمام يحيى ابن معاذ الرازي رحمه الله, may Allah have mercy upon him, he mentioned, he said that العلماء أرحم بأمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم من آبائهم وأمهاتهم. The scholars, they are more merciful. I wanted to say, nobody is more merciful upon you than who? Than the scholars. The scholars are more merciful to the ummah of the prophets than their fathers and mothers. When he said that, فَقِيلَ لَهُ, it was said to him, كَيْفَ ذَلِكَ يَا شيخ, how can you say that? He said, لِأَنَّ آبَاءَهُمْ وَأُمَّهَاتِهِمْ يَحْفَظُونَهُمْ مِنْ نَارِ الدُّنْيَا. Their parents, their fathers and their mothers, they are only protecting them from what? The fire of this world. Anything that will harm you in this world, will your father actually allow you to do that? No, he will definitely protect you from that thing. But وَالْعُلَمَاء يَحْمُونَهُمْ مِنْ نَارِ الْآخِرَةِ. And the scholars are protecting them from where? From the fire of where? Hellfire, which is the permanent fire. That of this world is temporal. So, وَقَدْ قَالَ صلى الله عليه وسلم, and the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم has said, لَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ لَمْ يُجِلَّ كَبِيرَانَا. He is not of us, is not part of us. He who does not exalt and respect and honor what? Our elders. وَيَرْحَمْ صَغِيرَنَا, and also have mercy upon what? Our younger ones. وَيَعْرِفْ لِعَالِمِنَا. He also who do not know the right of our scholars, who do not respect our scholars, is also not what? Not part of us. وَبِهَذَا الْقَدْرِ كِفَايَةً. With this duration, I think it's sufficient for us to stop here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward us all abundantly. Whatever I've said that is wrong, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me. And whatever I've said that is correct, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward each and every one of us abundantly. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.